What's up, Lakers Nation? Get ready, because today we've got some serious news heating up around the league, and it could have major implications for Los Angeles. There's a name starting to circle around trade talks and free agency rumors, and that name is Benedict Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers. Now, if you've been following the latest reports, it looks like Indiana isn't too eager to hand him a new deal anytime soon. That's right, according to multiple insiders, the Pacers are holding off on signing Mathurin to an extension, which opens up a lot of possibilities for teams that might want to swoop in and make something happen. So let's break this down, because there's a lot of moving pieces here. The Pacers, as it stands, are in a bit of a weird spot. Tyrese Halliburton is their cornerstone, but there's uncertainty around the rest of that roster. They already lost Miles Turner earlier in the summer, and that move said a lot about how hesitant Indiana is to commit big, long-term money right now. If they weren't willing to pay Turner, who was a core piece of their lineup for years, it's no shock they're taking their time with Mathurin. And that opens the door for teams like the Lakers to start paying attention. Now, here's the thing. Benedict Mathurin is still really young, just 23 years old, and already is the kind of game that fits perfectly in today's NBA. He's explosive, he can score from all three levels, and when he's locked in, he can defend too. The problem is consistency. There are stretches where he looks like a future all-star, and others where he kind of fades out of the picture. But for a player his age, that's part of the growth curve, and that's exactly the kind of upside a team like Los Angeles should be interested in. The Pacers' hesitation doesn't mean they want to lose him. It just means they're not ready to commit until they know exactly where their franchise is heading. They might want to see how this season goes before throwing out a big extension. But that wait-and-see approach can backfire fast. Remember what happened with Miles Turner? He walked, and Indiana didn't even get the chance to match the offer. Turner's departure was a wake-up call, and now Mathurin's situation feels like it could head down that same road. Now, Mathurin isn't an unrestricted free agent, which makes things interesting. He's restricted, meaning Indiana can match any offer another team gives him. But here's where the strategy kicks in. Teams can still make things complicated by offering him a big contract that ties up Indiana's cap space. That's the kind of move that can pressure a front office to either make a sign-in trade or simply let the player walk. And if you're a team like the Lakers, with flexibility coming up and a focus on staying young around their stars, Mathurin suddenly becomes a really intriguing option. Let's imagine a scenario. Say Los Angeles decides to make a move for him in the next offseason. They could try a sign-in trade, maybe involving some combination of young players or future picks. Or they could wait and see if Indiana lets him hit restricted free agency and then throw him an offer sheet. The risk, of course, is that while that deal is being processed, the Lakers' cap space is tied up and they might miss out on other free agents. That's the chess game teams play every summer. Still, Mathurin's fit on the Lakers makes sense. Think about it. A young, athletic guard who can create his own shot, run in transition, and add energy to the lineup. He's not the finished product defensively, but when he's engaged, he has the tools to be a solid two-way player. And playing alongside someone like LeBron James or even Austin Reeves could really help him refine that side of his game. LeBron's leadership and structure have done wonders for players in the past, and a guy like Mathurin could thrive under that kind of environment. Speaking of Austin Reeves, this is where things get tricky. The Lakers have big decisions ahead, especially if they want to stay competitive while also preparing for the post-LeBron era. Reeves has shown he can be that reliable secondary playmaker, but come playoff time, his production has been inconsistent. If the Lakers find themselves in another tough postseason stretch where Reeves struggles, the front office might start exploring trades or lineup adjustments. That's where Mathurin could come in as a potential long-term piece, someone younger with a higher athletic ceiling who could develop into that scoring wing the Lakers have needed for years. Now, statistically speaking, Mathurin's numbers are solid for someone still finding his role. Last season, he averaged around 16 points per game, shooting 46% from the field and 34% from beyond the arc. Not elite shooting, but not bad either, especially considering the Pacers' offensive system doesn't always play to his strengths. He's also an 83% free throw shooter, which shows the mechanics are there for him to become a much better perimeter shooter over time. His rebounding and assist numbers aren't eye-popping, about 5 boards and 2 dimes per game. But again, his primary role has been scoring, not playmaking. When you look at his playoff numbers, the story gets even more interesting. His minutes dropped, but his efficiency stayed respectable, and he proved he could contribute even in limited action. That's the kind of thing front offices notice, how a player handles himself when the lights get brighter. And while his three-point shooting dipped in the postseason, that's something a strong development staff can fix. The potential is there. He just needs the right system and mentorship to put it all together. The Lakers, on the other hand, have some big decisions coming up that could shape what kind of roster they'll build around their stars. Depending on how this season unfolds, we could see them take drastically different approaches. If they win it all, maybe they run it back with a few tweaks. If they fall short early, that could push them to shake things up, bring in younger talent, and start building for the next era. And someone like Benedict Mathurin perfectly fits that mold. Young, dynamic, with star potential that hasn't been fully unlocked yet. Another angle to consider is how he would fit alongside players like Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, if you imagine a world where the Lakers land another star guard. Mathurin's game complements playmakers like Luka or even LeBron because he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He can cut, move without the ball, and create spacing with his athletic drives to the rim. He's also versatile enough to play multiple positions depending on the lineup. You could easily see him slotted as a 2 or 3, depending on who's on the floor. And let's not forget, he's still just 23. That means he's got years ahead of him to develop, and his prime is still way down the road. The Lakers have been clear about wanting to balance experience with youth, and getting someone like Mathurin would be a statement move towards securing that future. They'd be bringing in a player who can contribute right away, but still grow into something much bigger. If Indiana keeps delaying an extension, the situation could start to mirror what we've seen with other young players around the league. Guys taking qualifying offers, betting on themselves, and then cashing in later as unrestricted free agents. That could open the door for Mathurin to test the market fully, and if that happens, you can bet the Lakers will be one of the first teams to make a call. They've always been aggressive when a young star becomes available, especially one that fits their timeline and can help bridge the gap between eras. So while nothing's set in stone yet, it's definitely a storyline to watch closely as the season unfolds. The Pacers' front office is playing the waiting game, but the longer they wait, the more opportunities arise for teams like Los Angeles to get involved. And honestly, who wouldn't want to see Benedict Mathurin in purple and gold? Young, athletic, hungry to prove himself. He's got the energy this team thrives on. That's why this whole situation could turn into one of the most interesting off-season storylines to follow. Indiana's hesitance could end up being Los Angeles' opportunity, especially if the Lakers are looking to retool with youth and athleticism around their core. Mathurin's skill set, his scoring instincts, and his ability to adapt make him a perfect modern fit for a team trying to stay relevant at the top of the Western Conference. And if he ever lands in LA, you can already imagine the highlight reels, fast breaks, dunks, and that electrifying energy staple center fans love. Now, let's dive even deeper into why Benedict Mathurin could become such a pivotal piece for the Lakers if this scenario ever turns real. It's not just about adding another scorer. It's about adding a different kind of energy, a player with that fearless edge who doesn't shy away from the moment. Every team that's made a deep playoff run in recent years has had that one young guy who brings spark, confidence, and unpredictability to the floor. For the Lakers, Mathurin could easily be that guy. He's aggressive, attacks the rim without hesitation, and has that mentality that every possession is his chance to make an impact. You can see it in his body language. He carries himself like someone who believes he belongs on the big stage. What makes Mathurin stand out is how naturally he scores the basketball. His ability to create separation, finish through contact, and hit tough mid-range shots gives him an offensive versatility that the Lakers could absolutely use. He's not just a catch-and-shoot guy waiting in the corner. He's someone who can put the ball on the floor, read the defense, and make something happen out of nothing. That type of creation is something the Lakers have missed whenever LeBron James isn't on the court. Having a player who can keep the offense flowing, attack mismatches, and keep defenders honest is crucial, especially in the postseason where every possession slows down and isolation scoring becomes the difference between winning and losing. And here's another thing. Mathurin's game has the kind of foundation that improves naturally over time. The jump shot can be refined, but the mechanics are solid. The decision-making will evolve as he gets more reps and more experience under good coaching. He's not a finished product, but the ceiling is high, and that's what makes him so intriguing. You look at the trajectory of players like Jaylen Brown or even Anthony Edwards early in their careers, and you see a pattern. Guys who came into the league with raw athleticism and a scoring instinct, then slowly added layers to their game. Mathurin fits right into that mold. Now, if we switch the focus back to the Lakers, they're in a unique position. On one hand, they have a roster that can compete now, led by LeBron and Anthony Davis. On the other hand, they're staring down the reality that LeBron won't be around forever, and they need to start grooming that next generation of stars. Austin Reeves has shown flashes. Rui Hachimura has taken steps forward, and guys like Max Christie are still developing. But the team still lacks that young, dynamic scorer who can consistently put pressure on defenses. Mathurin checks that box perfectly. He could be the bridge between the LeBron era and whatever comes next. You also have to consider how Mathurin's mentality fits the culture of Los Angeles. He plays with confidence, sometimes bordering on arrogance, but in the best way possible. He's got that chip on his shoulder, that self-belief you need to thrive under the lights of the Staples Center. Not every young player can handle that. Some crumble under the weight of expectations, but Mathurin has that edge that suggests he'd embrace it. Imagine him feeding off the crowd, hitting big shots in the playoffs, and growing into one of those players fans rally behind, the kind of energy player that lifts the entire arena. And defensively, while he's not yet elite, there's untapped potential. He's got the athletic tools, strong frame, good lateral movement, quick first step to become a solid perimeter defender. What he needs is structure and accountability, and that's something the Lakers system could give him. Playing alongside guys like Anthony Davis, who sets the tone on defense, can push him to stay engaged on that end of the floor. Because when Mathurin locks in defensively, he can be a real disruptor, jumping passing lanes, contesting shots, and using his length to make life miserable for opposing guards. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers have been swirling around Los Angeles for weeks, and now the chatter has reached fever pitch. Kevin Durant, one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history, is reportedly heading to the Lakers. While official confirmation is still pending, sources close to the matter suggest that a deal has been reached that could redefine the Lakers roster and shake up the Western Conference in ways few could have imagined. The rumor has ignited excitement among Lakers fans, who have long dreamed of pairing Durant with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Imagine the possibilities: a team stacked with offensive firepower, capable of turning any game into a highlight reel. Analysts are already speculating that Durant's arrival could give the Lakers the edge they've been missing in recent playoff runs, transforming them into immediate championship contenders. Of course, as with any blockbuster move, questions abound. How will Durant fit into an already star-studded lineup? Will the team need to sacrifice depth to accommodate his massive salary? And perhaps most intriguingly, how will rival teams respond to a Lakers squad that now boasts arguably the most lethal scorer of his generation? Speculation is running wild, and every corner of the NBA is bracing for a seismic shift. Inside sources hint that the deal has been quietly negotiated over the past weeks, with both parties eager to finalize terms before the season heats up. Social media has exploded with reactions, from elation to skepticism, as fans debate whether this is a masterstroke or a gamble with enormous stakes. One thing is certain: Kevin Durant in purple and gold is the kind of headline that dominates conversation from the West Coast to the East, from casual fans to hardcore analysts. Whether this is the start of a new dynasty or just another what-if moment in NBA lore, the Lakers rumor mill is alive and electric. Stay tuned. If the whispers are true, the NBA landscape may never look the same again. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.